Hello and welcome to the UDK Basic Material Editor tutorial. My name is Rick Molinari. I am a level designer from cohort 16. We are going to be working with the May 2011 version of UDK here, and this is being recorded on June 5th, 2011. Just a basic outline of what we're going to be going over here. We are going to take a look at the basic material editor UI and layout. We will go over some navigation commands and useful hotkeys. We will create a package and import textures to this package. And we will create a basic material with those textures. And we are going to start out here by opening the content browser. We need to create a new package and import the textures we're going to use in our material to that package. So the easiest way to do that is to click Import in the bottom left corner here of the content browser. And we will navigate to the material or the textures we're going to use. There we go. And we will import the diffuse, normal, and spec for our metal wall. This will bring up a import dialog box here. We can create our new package by giving it a unique name here. We will name it Molinari Tutorial to keep things simple. A grouping name isn't necessary, but it will help organize files within subfolders in the package. So we will give these a name, texture, and metal wall diffuse will be fine as our file name. It saves the settings over for our next texture, the normal map, so we will click OK for that one, and we will do the same for the spec texture. It will automatically bring us into our new package with our materials showing, and now we can begin creating our basic texture by selecting our diffuse material here, right-clicking on it, and clicking on Create New Material. It'll ask us what package we want to put this material in. We can leave it in Molinari Tutorial, and we can put it in the group Material. And I will rename this file Metal Wall Material. Click OK, and it will take us to our material subfolder with our new material selected. We will double click this to open it up within the material editor. Here we have our first look at the material editor. To begin things here, I will quickly go over some of the important basic UI and layout features here. Up top here we have a toolbar with some useful commands that we'll be using. Some of the important ones on the far left here, we have a check mark that will save the changes we've made to the material and apply them to all instances of it. We have these four shapes here: cylinder, cube, sphere, plane, which will change the shape being used in the preview pane to preview the material. We have this arrow button here that will, if you have a static mesh selected in the content browser, it will bring that static mesh in to preview the material in the preview pane. This skull button here will remove all unused expressions in the expression graph here. And here you can search for instances within the material expression graph here, within this search box. Other important things in the material editor to look at here, we have the preview pane to the left here, this currently black box that will show a preview of the material once we start creating it. Here in the middle section we have the material expression graph, which is where we will create our material by connecting material expression nodes to our preview material here to create the material. To the far right here, this box, we have a list of the various material expressions that we can use to manipulate our material. Finally, down at the bottom here, we have the property pane, which will display properties of current material expression node that's selected, and these properties will change depending on which node you have selected, which type of node. Next, we will go over some of the navigation commands here for the material expression graph. You can left-click drag or right-click drag to pan around the material expression graph. If you left-click and right-click at the same time and hold both of those, you can zoom in and out of the material expression graph. Alternatively, you can use the middle mouse button to zoom in and out. You can left-click on a node to select it, and you can control-click to move that node. You can control-alt-click to box select objects. So if you have multiple expression nodes, you can control-alt-click to select multiples. You can right-click in the background to access the material expression menu, and you can right-click on an object to access the object menu. Now, to begin creating our material, you can left-click on the nodes, the output nodes to the left, and click and drag, and on the right of boxes are input nodes. You click and drag to connect them to create a connection by dragging the black tab of this diffuse texture sample that we brought in to start this creation into the diffuse of the preview material box. We create the basic material here, and now you can see a preview of it in the preview pane. You'll see here on the material expression node that you also have a red, green, blue, and white tab from which you can create different connections. The red, green, and blue represent the RBG channels, which can be manipulated individually to create connections, and the white represents the alpha channel, which can be used individually as well. And the black represents all of this information. Moving on here, we are going to bring in a new texture and create a new expression with it. One way to do that is to select the texture we want to bring in the content browser. We will bring in the normal now, and you navigate back to the material editor and find the texture sample expression that will be under textures, and you drag in the texture sample expression, and this will bring our normal texture into the expression graph. We'll move that over here, and we will click and drag the normal texture into the normal tab of the preview material. And you'll see our material here is updated. It now has the bump normal texture, giving it a little depth, as you can see, but we still need to do a little more work on it here.